Hello everyone, welcome back to Thursday for Knowledge, and continuing on with The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I'm on habit 2 now. We will be discussing habit 2 now. Habit 2 is begin with the end in mind. This chapter is extremely deep, fairly lengthy, but there's a lot of things covered in it. I'm going to do my best to touch on the major things. And I'll probably have to make other videos, not on this Thursday for Knowledge, but other videos that to get more into the deeper aspects of this chapter, because that's how much it's more. This one's more about an awareness kind of thing than not so much. There's a few actions and things, but it's the awareness that's really important. Like that's just that's like a bunch of things. They're all different topics. Okay, and I'm gonna do my best to not ramble on. So the first thing that they discuss, or that's brought up, is picture your funeral. So picture ahead of time, whenever you, God forbid, you pass away. Picture how your funeral is, and think about the things that your family, your coworkers, your friends, and whatever. They use a few examples of people, community people, whatever. That think about the things that they would say to you right now, as you are. When you do this exercise, what would they say about you? Would you be happy after you did this exercise? Take a few minutes to do it and reflect, and then think: would you be happy with what they said? Would you be okay with that? That so far, that is obviously that's the end, literally. Okay. Now, what would you do differently, or what would you do? What about it would change? What would you change so that that at the end that it would say? What would they say? Okay. Now, that's not what the point of the chapter is. That's kind of the ultimate end, so to speak. But to apply that to goals and visions and things like that, because when you do have an actual picture of the end in mind of whatever you're undertaking, my quest, your thing, your goal, your success, even individual tasks and exercises or activities and projects, have a clear idea mentally and picture it, what it is that you're doing, like that, literally the end result, what it will be. And this isn't about being realistic. This isn't about impressing anybody. This is about the size and scope is up to you and what you want it to be. Because after you have that perfect image of it, everything you do up to that point and everything that happens around you till that point will align to get you to that. This is the 30-day challenge in a nutshell, what I've been doing, and I've now started the second cycle of 30 days. Still haven't messed it up because I'm on like a momentum wave that I'm not gonna have to reset it. I'm not confident at this point. Something major would have to happen, and even then I feel I'm strong enough to deal with it. Okay. That being said, having that vision, the size and the scope, that's what that is the 30-day challenge. Have the goal. It's not going to happen in 30 days, but necessarily, depending on what it is. But have the goal in the mind and your actions and the actions of everything around you, and we'll just start naturally going in line towards that. Sometimes it won't be the most direct connection. You won't realize what you're doing somewhere that has nothing to do with your goal. Sometimes that actually ends up benefiting you, because this is about you growing into that person to achieve the success. Because you don't achieve success, or you become success. You transform, and you need to transform yourself into the vehicle or the tool or the whatever to get the goal that you want. If you keep doing what you have been doing, that means you don't have a vision or you don't want it bad enough. So you need that vision, the end in mind, to transform into that. There's a few things that I don't know if I really want to get into too much, but being a leader versus a manager approach is just focusing on the mundane, the efficiency, the task itself. And so if you apply it to your life, if you're a manager approach, you're not looking at the vision, you're just looking at your day-to-day. I got to pay these bills, I got to do this, I got to do that. And it has no contribution to the big picture. But a leader approach is you know your goal and your actions are going to work towards your goal. You still manage your day-to-day, you have to regardless, but your actions that you do take are also going to contribute to the goal itself. Then it gets on to re-scripting. So the first chapter was about being proactive, and that chapter in a nutshell dictates that you are the creator. And if you accept that as true, if you've read that chapter, if you watched this video, or if you already think like you are the creator, you choose who you are and who you will be, then you're ready for this chapter, which is you start to create. And that means yourself. You start creating the version of yourself that you need to be to achieve your goal. Having that in mind, we all have different centers, and that's what a lot of this chapter focuses on, all these different centers that we have: family, money, pleasure, church, if you go to church, your community thing, whatever that may be, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of them, and I don't remember them all off the top of my head. And if you are a reactive person, so if you're not proactive yet, if you're reactive, basically all of your decisions are going to tie into one or more of those different centers. It's always going to be like based on, what would my family think? What does my family want? What does my friends want? What do I want, like pleasure-wise? Like, I want to have fun. So all my decisions will be based on that. Is that a good or bad thing? It's just, if you're proactive, you're not basing your decisions on all those factors, because you're basing your decisions on principles which are in line with your vision, which is the end in mind. So that's why you need the end in mind, because then you can develop the principles required to get there. Then as a principle-centered person, you are aware that these other centers around you are going to be affected by your decisions, but you won't make your decisions because of the effect it will have. You will understand that there's always a trade-off. And then they even use the analogy, when you if you pick up one end of a stick, you're picking up the other end as well. So always, with whatever happens, there's always going to be, when you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Always remember that. So with the principle center in mind, though, you will make your decisions based on the principles that align directly to your end in sight, your vision. And you won't care about the reactions of all the centers around you, because realistically, if you're trying to become something or grow to some level of success, those centers you shouldn't be acting in line with those centers. You should be acting in line with your own principle center. So that's what I've been getting at with this paradigm shifts and all that stuff. I like this quote, and I want to read it. It's kind of related, and it's from the pleasure center part, and it's one paragraph. So from the book directly: too many vacations that last too long, too many movies, too much TV, too much video game playing, too much undisciplined leisure time in which a person continually takes the course of least resistance gradually wastes a life. Gradually wastes a life. Okay? It ensures that a person's capacities stay dormant, that talents remain undeveloped, that the mind and spirit become lethargic, and that the heart is unfulfilled. Where is the security, the guidance, the wisdom, and the power? At the low end of the continuum, in the pleasure of a fleeting moment. That's the pleasure center. That's the consequences of someone who's only pleasure centered. Meaning, all they care about is right here, right now. I'm happy because I can watch TV and live vicariously through celebrities and play video games. Video games was mine. You're living vicariously through a character in a video game. And then you get out of the video game after you had all your fun, and you're like, yep, still the same me. Nothing changed. And what was really deep about that paragraph was the wasting and the talents undeveloped and the lethargic and all those. It's just it's like all the potential that we all have as people is just squandered on nonsense like that. That's just one center, by the way. They talk about all the different centers and the consequences of being centered on whatever the center was. And I will probably cover a few of them in other videos. Just it's a lot, so I'll do it through other videos somehow. Next, so I said, your principal centers is basically knowing what you want and then knowing how the other centers will get affected, but your choice isn't based on that. You don't care because not that you don't care, but you're weighing out the options because you know your vision and where you want to go. And then, long story short, there's a few techniques at the end of the chapter. I'm not going to get into them too much, but one thing they do touch on is the right brain versus the left brain. As most of us know by now, the right side of our brain controls the left side of our brain controls the logic and the analyticals. I think I'm right about this. Pretty sure. The left side of our brain, controls the logic and the analytical stuff and the thinking process. Great. Most of us are like that. So what happens? We plan things out and we work in fear and whatever because we're so analytical. The right side of our brain is the creative center, and most of us don't think like that. And we need to tap into both and have a good balance of both, because you'll tackle solutions creatively and you won't think like something's impossible, like a task or whatever. And the vision that you have, the end in mind that you have, will be you'll actually believe that you can obtain it. And the reason I'm still holding the book is because there's a section about expanding your perspective and 2 ways to tap to the right brain. Well, I'm going to only talk about one of them, and that's expanding your perspective. And it's mainly that this is unfortunate what happens. It is about paradigm shifts. Sometimes we are knocked out of our left brain environment and thought patterns and into the right brain by an unplanned experience. The death of a loved one, a severe illness, a financial setback, or extreme adversity can cause us to stand back, look at our lives, and ask ourselves some hard questions. What's really important? Why am I doing what I'm doing? But if you're proactive, you don't have to wait for circumstances or other people to create perspective expanding experiences. You can cautiously create your own. Meaning, you don't need these negative, all these extreme things to happen to change. I've already talked about this. If you are proactive, as the book just said, as I read it, you will make these changes on your own. How? Changing your subconscious mind. To briefly and quickly, the techniques that they talk about are making affirmations, visualizations, and having a mission statement. And because those are 3 things that I can really get into in a whole videos for each one, I'm not going to talk about them right now. Just understand that you can reprogram your subconscious through those 3 methods among many others. And that is, in a nutshell, habit 2, begin with the end in mind. My mission from this chapter is to create my own mission statement. I'm going to create my own mission statement for Andrew's Quest and for my life. And I'll share that with the channel, depending on... It's going to take long to make because it's supposed to be deep and well thought out. But eventually I will. That's the takeaway I have from that chapter. That's my homework. And I already have started visualization and affirmations. That's what got me to this point where I'm at right now. So that's all it is in a nutshell. You are the creator by being proactive. So start creating by beginning with the end in mind and affirming yourself. Let's keep growing together. Thanks for watching and take care.